Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is FunMade. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you to all our subscribers, and then please subscribe to this channel. We want you to support us, and thank you for doing so. Today, like you already know from the topic, we'll be talking about living life without regrets, and it's actually based on a couple of topics involving intolerance mainly, and which is also wrapped around ethnicity, okay, xenophobia, and the big one, racism and slave trade. I notice among Black people that we always refer to all these things at different locations or geographical locations that we found ourselves. And as a woman that grew up in Africa, and I saw firsthand what the Black community can do to each other, okay, whether from the government or from within one another. And when I come out of Africa and I now live in Europe, and I see the kind of intolerance going on within the government, for instance, or this institutional racism as we call it here and all that, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one here. I find it quite a bit, I don't really relate, as it were. Let me just use a mild word, that I cannot really relate in terms of me comparing what I've experienced back in Nigeria and what is, in existence here. Because if you have seen, let's take for instance this current virus that is the pandemic. Have you watched the news to see how Nigerian government treats their own? Have you watched to see how I don't know what kind of monstrosity, really overtook them, and that has been their trend, that has been their norm, that has been their nonchalant, wicked, inhuman response or attitude that the government has towards the citizen of its country. So when, for instance, let me take the issue of distributing food and social distancing, distributing food to support the people that are going to be in need, or that are in need, or the vulnerable people in Africa or in Nigeria, and then the observation of the social distancing policy. None of that has been taken. Either it's not serious, or they just flout orders. They gave a small portion for family of 20, one bag for family of 20, one small bag, like about 5 kg, less than 5 kg rice for a family of 20 families. That doesn't even make sense. And it's that kind of reaction and attitude from the government to the citizen. You can never find it here in Europe. So when people now complain that the government is not supporting them, where I am in Europe, I really, especially when you are now saying, oh, it's because we are Black, I'm like, maybe you don't get it. I don't get the same vibe of hate towards the European government like anybody else would expect me to, being a Black person in Europe, based because of my experience from Africa in Nigeria. And the same thing, the way they go about their laws, the social distancing law. There's a popular actress that was arrested for not observing, following the policy and flouting the social distancing policy. And if you watch the news, I did a video about that anyway. But then you will wonder, why would the government, many institutions here in Europe, of such, like the courts, some courts have been adjourned, they will observe that social distance, even up unto the reporters that came to interview the offender. Everybody was just close together, and I'm like, is this a show? Do they not understand the magnitude of this, of the reason why they want people to social distance each other and from each other, And those are the things reasons why I cannot really relate when people mention things like racism or we are being in slave trade. I'm like, I get it. These things we are just giving it names. But then maybe we just call it intolerance in general, because if I go to the food bank and I get food here in Europe for my children, for my family, because I'm in distress, but then I am not even paid my salary way back in Africa, I wouldn't complain if the food bank did not respond on time, because I didn't even work for it. Or if I were to be claiming benefit, for instance, and they decide to reduce it. It's benefit. I never worked for that. I will not really complain. So that is where I'm coming from. And I also want to say that people that are in Africa, America, mainly talk about, make reference mainly to, most times, to slavery and racism. I understand with you. I feel your point. But then my take on this is, majority of Black people are religious and we are taught to forgive. I know it's not easy to forget. We may not forget. We don't have to forget so that we don't fall for the same thing that happened to the people in our history. But then we need to forgive these people to move on. If some of us are even, aware of this as Christians or whatever religion that you observe, that unforgiveness only keeps you in the same spot. Let's release these people. We are the children or the children of the great-grandchildren generation of these people that went into slave trade. They as well are the great-grandchildren of the people that took Africa in slavery. But let's forgive these people and move on and try to work on things that would make our lives better as people, better as Black people. Let's encourage, supporting the community that we find ourselves. Let's support one another as Black people. Let's support one another. Let's not be too flamboyant, and let's stop, trying to always wish them evil. I don't know how you mean. Maybe if you understand what I'm saying, because I noticed when a Chinese doctor said that the melanin skinned people are not going to contract the virus, the pandemic, this virus that's going on. And I'm like, who tested it? Which of the Black doctors confirmed that? And everybody took to social media and they were dancing and saying that all the white people are going to get it and all that. I know it might seem it's something like a payback, but I don't want us to always see that as, I'm not supporting the whites for their great-grandparents for doing what they do, but then I don't want us to always be like we are vindictive and always wishing them evil and then waiting for evil to happen to them. Because take it from me, if there is no West African country and you are asked to come to Africa, you will not like it even better there. The way they are operating now, most African countries, the way the government operates, the way the people relate with each other, you would rather prefer to be with, Donald Trump, as bad as he may be. So this is me. I cannot relate. I am not sorry that I cannot relate, but then I can relate at the same time. But let's capital. If you've witnessed xenophobia, which is Black killing Black because they think they are better or they think they have come to take away their jobs and wives and all that, then when a white man slaps you, for instance, or not even slap, maltreats you, or asks you to walk out of the store because you are dressed in a particular way, and you won't even feel that too heavily on your mind. You will really mildly obey because you know that there's this level of fear or control around them compared to the way the police in Nigeria would treat you, compared to the way the police, the fellow Black man in South Africa would treat you. Okay? So I am not defending any of these bad behaviors. I am not defending any of them. I'm not defending this institutional racism in America. I'm not defending the individual or whatever hate culture that we feel around us. But I am saying, let us forgive these people while we discuss on how to adjust the policies, current policies, to favor and make life better for Black people out there. But then let us let our energy be focused more on how to make our lives better in our community, one-on-one. And that is my opinion. That is my candid opinion. And I hope that I am not taken the wrong way. I am not in support of racism or xenophobia or any form of hatred. But I am just saying that let's put our energy into making our lives better as people. And seriously, I think we can do better than what we are doing now by, improving our lives. So that is it for today. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.